stop aggression. And if those guys can be on the same page, whip out extra ARs whenever they need to, and just dictate to how the game is going to be played, because you're going up against Neptune in 04, who love to manipulate the map a certain way. They create extra layers when they win the rotation, and it just makes it more and more difficult if you allow them to do what they do. But the way that Pred plays and the way that Exnid plays, they are also going to be able to match that aggression. Those battles between those SMG players are going to be the difference in this series.
Keeping a close eye on that indeed. As we break off then into map 1 of lower round 1 here at DreamHack. It's whether the SMGs can keep up with the pressure, with the pace of Vancouver. And actually, for a P1 on Vault, it feels relatively respectful.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about both teams not really playing for any hail time. They're both playing for the kills. Initially at the start, they leave it white for the first 20 seconds, and Vancouver makes the most of it after that, finding 3 kills in the feed. Now put themselves in towards the hard point, already put the spawns, and now Vegas with 30 seconds left have to work through pool.
Yeah, interesting moment there where somehow you get a flip set of spawns for both teams. I don't think you're expecting as everyone pauses, turns their heads, and assesses the situation. But there will be a couple of clean kills for Vancouver. Those trophy spawns will reward them getting in on pool's side. Falcons likely to try and mop up a little bit of time here, but it's about assessing up this P2. One of the better hills on the map for returning yourself a bit of purchase. Figuring out how to break this Vancouver squad down.
And so far they have the spawns. At least for now, if you are Surge, but getting aggressive through the middle of the map is going to allow Vegas to still make this mixy, but the gunfights at the end of the hard point go in favor of Vancouver. So they win the rotation over towards New. You got Priesta and Exton trying to work their way around the back. Exton is able to win on one-on-one, but he's instantly traded, and Vancouver's set up too strong.
And the one thing for Vegas here, you're applying enough pressure to force those spawns right at the southern side of that map. You do get one then in dirt for Nasty, and Falcons here just trying to punch a hole in what is a very small line right now to very little success. Final 30 seconds of this hill. Vegas seeing nothing of it. Nasty gets a little bit over aggressive there. Potentially didn't need to take that challenge. That'll give Exit the opportunity to break in for 2. We talked about it. He's going to be the player to try and pull this team on through, considering what he's done through this season. As we close this one up, Sully, we start to consider that B3 rotation. Maybe this is where Falcons just say hold and stop Vancouver getting out.
Oh, yeah, and they already did a great job of it. They find every single kill at the end of that P2. Now they had the rotation over towards New, and Exit is beaming with that AR once he picked it on up. You make it scrappy at the P2 HP. You have the spawns that you want from the P3, P4 chain. Let's not allow Surge to soak up a lot of time here.
Big kill by Boozer, by the way, to just get rid of that player that was sniffing around at poolside. It will give them a cleaner exit. Also then gives them mid-map control. So 2 big checkboxes if you are Surge here. So it's going to flip the Falcons out. So RCT's here, a huge job on hand. Not just for art control now, but for that P4 after.
And RCDs knows that he's going to get isolated. There's a lot of players from Vancouver playing for this kill, and this is the worst case scenario for that situation to happen, because now Vancouver have the spawns that they want for art. Even though kills are still going down around the middle of the map, Vegas aren't getting any time at P3. They don't have the spawns that they want at New, but 2 kills go their way, and now it's going to make the spawns a little bit more mixed.
And RCTs gets on through at white, so he might be able to just slip the net here. He needs to just stay alive, though. Loses the support in Priesta, and well, with that kill, that should give Vancouver an opportunity. Pred's going to try and still apply pressure, but that should give you a little bit of a buffer if you are the Vancouver Surge. So set up in for P4 here. Great work for 3. And this is that combo that so often, if you string it together, we'll just hand this map on over, and we know how good Surge are here.
Yeah, Surge are phenomenal at this hard point. They are set up on the crosses. They value the light so well. No one scams and gives them the 3 first kills. And with the Boozer just causing mayhem in towards art, drawing the intention on this side, you know that your teammates on the hard point are going to be uncontested. But RCDs does win a one-on-one. He's the only one here. Everyone else is still spawning out towards the mid-map, so Surge still holding.
4 there, gets one that he really shouldn't have, and then finds Exnid in the hill as well. Nade goes on out. It's going to force Priesta to try and move. And 04 here on a 4 spree. Make a 5 spree. No way. Absolutely running a tear through this Vegas Falcons lineup. And they actually get a spawn in for the hill. I don't know if it's going to be something you want. As the Falcons here seeing themselves 70 points plus down after the first set of rotations. And also not that hole that you like to have at the end of it, where you trap the opposing players in. Vancouver will be able to put immediate pressure onto P1.
Yeah, that's just what Surge are good at on ball. That P3 to P4 chain, not really allowing you to get any time at the P3, dominating on the P4. You're finding yourself up by 60. Rotation Vegas was set up for the initial push. They find every single kill in the feed. Exit also covering all of his bases. Even though with Neptune finding one, you're able to instantly reinforce your way back to the middle of the map, which is also in time.
Nasty has just cleared that on out. Falcons, can you do a better job than you did the first time round when it comes to these P2 spawns? We have let 04 slip the net for a moment. Could influence those spawns massively, of course. RC just stays up on the points. 3 dead for the Falcons, so an opportunity then to just soak up the rest of this time. Prioritize your P2 rotation. For the Surge, it's about how you approach this, and it looks like they're just going to send it down Main Street and try and play in through Trophy.
Yeah, they're just working their way through the spawns. They don't want to contest around this mid-map area, make it scrappy. And if they lose those gunfights, they have to do it again for a second time with that new hell popping. So taking our sweet time, working our way around the back, but Exit is able to find a double. Now Nasty, last man standing through poolside. All of Surge have to push their way through the front with Vegas winning rotation anew.
And the Falcons start to get that line in place. They draw themselves on out. Nasty, though, might slip the net. I think he's going to get in without being detected. And, well, what could have been a fantastic setup sees that its foundations ripped on out as Nasty slips on through pool, gets himself into the point. This is going to turn it into a bit of a bloodbath now as Nasty finds one. Got to be worried about 2 coming into the back door. Slides, finds one. Nasty! Just about cleaned up by Xnid, but 04 here. The support, clean it on up. Falcons just being bottlenecked to this back alley.
Damn, that's not good if you're Falcons, because Vancouver, they are banking on this setup. Let's trap you toward the backside of P2 for as long as we possibly can. But now those spawns get a little bit mixy. 2 players spawn all the way over towards Art, so you know the pinch is on the horizon there for Falcons, and they make the most of it for the final 15 seconds. But this is truly, if they're going to get themselves back into the game, or if they're going to lose this map number 1, this P3 to P4 is the biggest difference.
Yeah, you've called it, and I absolutely love it. This P3, P4's 04 finds 3. Beautiful work from him to just shut down these Falcons players as they try and get on out. He's going to force them to bottleneck up a bit, assess what it is that they fight for. Fullside didn't really belong to them, although Exit has found his way into the middle of the map, so an opportunity here if you can win that gunfight, and you do. Surge spawning all the way up north. Now, that is going to be leaving them worried about that P4 setup. But right now, it's still going to be Vancouver Surge largely in the driving seat.
Dominating the kill feed, all 4 dead again. Now final 30 seconds here at P3. You know every single player from Vegas are going to be right in front of you at ammo. They have yet to soak a single second here at the P3. Vancouver find themselves up by 60. And if you're Vegas, this is a crucial moment in the game. They find 2 kills at the right time. 2 players from Surge are going to spawn out. It's all up to Nasty to stay alive in towards Art.
Finds one, got to stay alive though. Xnid's here. You're just trying to get the regen on through. You actually get given it as well. Xnid not willing to push this. Tries to delay. The stun's going to connect. The fact that Nasty's alive for so long. Okay, you fall, but look at the Surge players arrive because they had time to, because the Falcons couldn't get that Art control.
Oh, but it doesn't matter. The SMGs from Vegas are able to stabilize, find every single kill in the feed, and technically win the rotation over towards the money hill. It's a 50-point difference that you can tie the game up with all this time. AR's watching the crosses, but Vancouver overwhelmed through the right side. Get a clean 4 dead, and even with Vegas still having the back spawns, this is a crucial moment in the game.
Vancouver here just starting to turn it up a little bit. Recognize the Falcons are here to play. Xnid does his best to stay alive. Will be cleaned on up. Nasty touches the point for now. 50-point gap in hand. Still 20 seconds left on this hill. The Falcons, it's about how long you can test this for. Because again, what you can do is draw a line in the sand, keep you pinned into P4, and play out of P1. Falcons didn't manage it last time. It looks like Vancouver might have an opportunity to get out this time.
If you're Falcons, though, we need to start to step it on up. Exton has already crossed that 30-kill mark. Priest is sitting at 9 and 21. He's one of your main ARs on a map like Vault, where his presence needs to be felt. Gunny needs to start to be warmed up on the side of Vegas if they want to fight their way back into this game. They did it last go-around with this P1 to P2 chain, not really allowing Surge to get any time here, but the kill feed lights up blue. Surge find the break.
Yes, a good watch indeed. Priest onto the Jackal, and he find his way into this matchup. He's the difference maker. It feels like he is the swing factor right now. Nate does actually not connect considering how close that was. Gets himself into the catwalk for free. Damage flies. Finds nothing. And it's one of those moments where you just turn the wrong way. Fred here going to try and clean this up in lights. Keeps that spawn in Falcon's hands. So an opportunity to soak a little bit here. Set yourself up again. You did a good job of it last time in terms of the early setup, but it was broken. It's avoiding letting players slip through like Nasty did last time out. If you can manage that, then Falcons have an opportunity to build themselves into this. Otherwise, it's looking a little bit over the hill.
Yeah, you won a rotation last go around towards P2, but you can already see on your minimap one player spawning in Africa. RCDs is forced to now jog his way all the way back over towards P2. Vancouver win the rotation technically over towards the P2 HP. They breach that 200-point mark. RCDs is finally going to be into play. He secures the back spawn for his team, and he's able to win on one-on-one, but it's still Surge holding.
Yeah, you do have Priesta, at least finding one in the back, and you're going to get some support in there. The pinch coming on through does not work out. Neptune lights up for 2. 0-4 with another. Might fancy himself another. Actually, he's just going to delay this whole push with a grenade. Beautiful work. Delay this, to stagger this. There's a spawn out from Priesta. This could affect things, and has E activates and finds 2. RCTs with 1 more. Priesta finds the 4th. That will be Vancouver cleaned on up. An opportunity then for Falcons. Get whatever you can out of this and hit a rotation. And with that kill from Pred, that will keep Vancouver off towards this dirt side.
Yeah, you're trying to trap them towards the backside of this pool area. Finding every single kill, at least also not allowing Surge to get any remaining time there at the P2, but they only need 27 seconds. Vegas now needs to play for that P3 to P4 chain to get themselves back into this game, but you also cannot allow them to soak time.
There will be 3 dead at least in the feed for the Falcons. Nasty just gonna be a little bit of a thorn in the side here, holding himself down at palms. Finds Priesta top art. Will back him down, but well, faces trouble of his own as Exnid finds 2 more. Exnid, by the way, at 37-28 is a ridiculous stat line for a team that is losing by 90 right now, doing his absolute best, refusing to go out quietly. Just needs a bit of support, and as he stays alive on the point as well, Abuza's going to be frustrated, fly on forward, and rip Priesta out of art. But RCTs, for a good couple here, will allow Falcons a moment to soak up some time and potentially set up for P4.
Man, this is a lot of time that Vegas got here at the P3, and now they're already stabilizing on the map. But as I say that, Vancouver combined for 3 kills. They step up in the aggression, and now it's on Priest, the last man standing. He is going to fall. And Vancouver now win the rotation over towards the money here at P4. They need 20 seconds to close it out. One opportunity here for Vegas.
Vancouver with kills at the right moment here to give them this P4 control. And you can see why they are so damn good when it comes to this map. Know exactly what to prioritize and when, but 0-4 is going to be overwhelmed here as Falcons players arrive from every entryway and clear it on out. So Vancouver having to refigure out a push. You do have Neptune up close, and he breaks in through the front doors to find one. Priest has got to go. You've got to go. Steps on the point and cleans it off. Finds a second. No, and it is all done and dusted. Neptune managing to apply that final pressure and will, although not be the final player standing, at least find the end points and the map for Vancouver to go 1-0 up. Felt like a map, my friend, that we can talk a lot about, you know, where Vegas had standouts from Exnid and moments where they seem to set up and get broken, but it's hard to look away when we're going to look at this scoreboard. Priesta, it just felt like he unfortunately was a non-fact. Felt like a 3v4 throughout the majority of that map.
Yeah, Priesta had a tough time there in that map, number 1, but just the way that Vancouver played the map, it's how they always find success here on Vault. Everyone's sitting basically around even. You don't really have to outslay them to bits. You just do the teamwork aspect correctly. We're talking about winning a majority of your rotations. And then even when you didn't find rotations on your side, especially towards the P2s, you're still finding your first attempt breaks through the front side. And that's only going to allow them to continuously run up the score, have Vegas playing from the back foot. If ARs aren't shooting, you're not going to have a good time on Vault. Vancouver, answer the call in that map, number 1. Go up 1-0 in the series, and now you're feeling the pressure if you're Falcons.
Yeah, you are indeed feeling the pressure. You called it, by the way, at the start of the show. You said that you wanted to see the SMG step up in this map. Pred dropped 4k damage. The SMG most certainly doing their part. The one thing with Vancouver, we look across this team, and we know that all 4 of these players can contribute at such high levels. Buza has been, again, a player who's been so good for them in the hard points through the qualifiers. Neptune, we know what he can bring to the table. And those 4 Nasty also delivering their part as well. It's just too much in the end for Vegas. To be fair, we came into map 1. We said that this would be a map that suits Vancouver. This would be a map that they should take. So it's all about then how you answer back if you're Falcons. Of course, you were hoping to come into a series where the Surge were walking wounded, struggling a little bit. If you're losing that one as the Falcons in the way you did, has your win been taken out of your sails? Or are you thinking, okay, this was never suiting us anyway, we've got map 2?
Yeah, I think it was never suiting them anyways, because you're going up against one of the best hardpoint teams in the game on their best hardpoint in the game. So it was just a tough draw there when you talk about the vetoes for Vegas to have to play that Vault to open up the series. But now you desperately need to bounce back and search and destroy. This is where Surge have been struggling all throughout Stage 3 and Stage 4. Their S&D has been up in the air. I feel like when you talk about Surge and search and destroy, it's usually through the SMGs. 0-4 loves to be that island player, to get lost, open up the map for his teammates. And when he's not finding that success, that's what makes them play a lot slower. And they don't really have strategies off of that slow pacing. So that's going to be tough to handle if they don't adapt quickly, because Vegas on the opposite side for Rewind, for Rewind, we have seen them so many different times with their SMGs. Pred and Exnid taking a lot of space through mid DVD. If you allow them to dictate the way that this game is going to be played, how the pacing is going to be played, you're not going to have a good time again if you're surging another S&D.
No, absolutely not. And I spoke about it. Nasty struggling in particular, 0.58 so far through the Major 4 qualifiers. Looking to see if he can step up to just make sure it's a nice and tidy one for Surge. The thing is here, it's kind of funny because obviously we're looking at this in Vegas, kind of talking about how this is their good map. They are 2 wins and 3 losses here, which matches the Vancouver Surge, but it's something that we're going to try and build on here. When it comes to this S&D, I feel like what I got to see though is just better out of Priesta. I think after that map 1, going to be reeling a little bit. We know how important opening duels are, in particular in S&D, and especially on this Rewind S&D. I think you're looking at your ARs to control those long lanes. You're talking RV side, talking Burger side. If he's 100%. A non-factor again, this becomes a very difficult map for his teammates.
Oh yeah, but Priesta, I expect him to have a bounce back here in the Search and Destroy, because this has been one of his favorite modes to play in, even when he was on the LAG lineup. He loves himself some S&D. Hasn't really been the best respawn player throughout this entire season, but he has had his moments, especially in the clutch, throughout his S&D career in this game. But a massive map here for Vegas, as they're going to be the team early on the attack. Remember, I said it, they love to play with the aggression, and this time they're at least going for the 2-2 split with Exnid taking a little space in towards Gens.
In the moment of pause, as everyone gets their stuns out, assesses the information that they've gained, and RCTs will open up with one into Burger. So at least that build off of if you're the Hawkins and Pred. We'll find another. So a 2v4, that instant aggression coming on through. Vancouver reeling and trying to get together to find a way to fight this.
Yeah, 2v4 now. Left up to 0-4 on Neptune. The SMGs on the side of Vancouver, but Exnid picks the right corner, just not the right time to take shots. Fortunately, both players are right in front of him, and they're able to take care of Exnid without that bomb being planted. So you're still giving 0-4 on Neptune a lot of time to clutch.
Plenty of time indeed. On this one, Neptune here, just trying to find freebie. Oh, 4's gonna slip on through, and Priest is just not looking, and oh no, Neptune finds another. Pred will stay up for a heartbeat, but somehow stays up and in the fight. And the fact that the Falcons have turned this situation into a 1v2 where Pred's got to try and retrieve bomb and 15 seconds on the clock. Somehow unthinkable.
He's just simply not going to have time to either locate both kills or get the objective down. In Vancouver, off of the back of the SMGs, are able to start off the Search and Destroy with a massive 2v4 clutch. If you are Vegas, it was a perfect start to the round. You had RCDs find that opening kill in towards Burger, which sets up Pred to be aggressive in towards Burger for the second. But as soon as you find those 2 kills, everyone just rallied together. We don't have to be put in isolation gunfights. Let's just get the objective down and play the trades. But once that first kill goes down onto Exnid, even still with the man-up advantage, you just weren't in a position to get that objective planted. And 0-4 and Neptune are able to capitalize on a massive opening round there for Vancouver to go up 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, you were an ex-pro player, my friend. You played at a level that I could never dream of, and well, I winced watching that one come on through, so I can't imagine how you felt. Just get yourself together, play that numbers advantage. They never do. You've managed to get your way into A here, and Falcons, well, they've just backed on off, potentially reeling from the shock of giving up that 2v4, and that's going to give a free plant potentially away to Neptune.
It's all about the timing. When Vegas is on to strike for this retake, they're not going to be in a position to contest instantly through glass. So now 40 seconds to go. 4v4 in this situation. Someone eventually has to be the aggressor because time is ticking.
Exnid backs on off, baits Neptune in and finds one at least. So that's an opportunity to come on in. It will be traded. 0-4 just tucked away off into these doorways. Someone's going to have to check the bomb at some point. I don't think you have to worry for a moment. RCTs will cross. That's information gained. Just delaying the timer. No one's going to go near the bomb. 0-4 finds one. He's on his own. And you clutch this. Finds Priester as well. Just delays. Dilly-dallies. Tries to get himself around the pole. And Pred's just trying to find him. Pred can't get this cleaned up in time. Beautiful work from 0-4. What's that? A 1v3 clutch off the back of a 2v4?
Yeah, that is unbelievable out of 0-4. Like, he just goes unaccounted for. And I love the trigger discipline out of the sophomore. Like, he understands I am the guy playing the clutch. We already are in a man disadvantage. As long as I time this to perfection when I decide to chow, it'll work out in my favor. He was just crawling like a caterpillar at the double doors. Throw an extra shoulder. All right, no one's on bomb. Do it again. No one's on bomb. And you already see 2 red dots right next to you. So chooses the right time to strike forward to double. Doesn't need the 3rd kill to secure the round. And 0-4 off to a great start at 5-1 here in the S&D.
Just outrageous levels of discipline there, control. As all the chaos unfolds, he knew exactly how he wanted to play that. Delayed and bought time. The Falcons are probably wondering how the hell they're not 2 off. And not being 2 down as 0-4 throws a couple of shoulders, gives out all the information, and Neptune will pick up the first blood, but Priesta at least answers back.
Vegas now have all control of this B site. You just don't really want to get bad timing here. If you start to think about that objective, thankfully Fred with the AR in hand is able to locate Abuza. You have the man advantage, and you also have info onto 0-4. Let's not throw this one away.
Here, you're going to get flanked from the right-hand side. Will be cleaned on up. No clutch this time. So the Vegas, it feels like they're getting off to strong starts in rounds. I think that on the defense, they were a little bit slow, gave it up for free, but they managed a pretty successful retake apart from the fact that 0-4 goes huge. They're initially, especially in the 1st and 3rd round here, they've done a great job finally clearing that up and seeing that round through. It's just about those situations where they should come out on top, not letting them slip. I think that's the difference between a team in the situation they're in and one of those teams that's looking at taking themselves into a champ spot.
And that's been their situation, basically, ever since this roster has been formed. Like, they just don't have the ice, even when you give them the heavy man advantage. And quickly into this next round, all-out aggression in towards Gens. You go trade for trade. RCD is able to walk out on top with an extra one. So another man-up advantage here for Vegas. You don't have the info, or do you, that the bomb is going to be down over towards Gen. Everyone's just playing real tight in that situation.
Worrying thing here for Vancouver, of course, you're very split. Nasty's going to bang the door open. Done. I don't think we'll connect. It does not. To get back together here, we've already watched a 2v4 and a 1v3 clutch. Vancouver looking to try and add a 3rd one to that tally, but well, you do get Pred actually finds an exit. Will you find the kill? Yes, you do. You activate. Turns it into a 2v1. Does not need to take that fight. And will be backed on down. Does the right thing to slip away just in the right moment. Bruiser on a donut so far. And does not. Checks the wrong corner. So Vegas, at least stabilizing, have now found 2 rounds. And it seems they're doing a better job. As we said, it seems their starts are good. It's just about making sure they slow it down, breathe, compose themselves, and just assess what to do next.
Yeah, the aggression early on into these rounds and then walking away with the majority of the gunfights is giving you early man advantage and a lot of control of the map. So far, that's been the answer in these last 2 rounds here for Vegas to tie the game up at 2. Communication starting to fire. Pred understanding what the setups are looking like. So he's trying to be the IGL here to rally the guys back because he is on 6 in a row. If you're Pred in this situation, probably want to bait your teammates a little bit. Or invest that RC card, because if you can earn yourself a Hellstorm, that's a massive game changer.
Problem is you activate and, well, RCT's falls amongst it. Yeah. So any sort of map presence you were hoping to gain is quickly thwarted, and then, well, 2 kills come on through for Vancouver. So Vegas here, you're getting nothing for a couple of freebies, and, well, you at least get one out of 0-4, but instantly traded.
Yeah, now it's Pred left in a 1v3. He's going to be able to spot one. Knocked down to 48 HP, still on 7 in a row. Makes us more capable of clutching up in this 1v3. 45 seconds to go. Both players from Vancouver currently spread, but you got to expect them to eventually rally together for that army of 2 setup.
Red will at least get the information. It gives him the confidence to plan today. You find a clean exit. I think Pred, yeah, is going to look to wrap this and get a little bit of a timing situation potentially. Do Vancouver just instantly jump on this bomb? You do. Coming in, he finds one. You slip away. No! Half a bullet was all that was needed there. As Abuza finishes it off. Felt like Pred had pulled it off for a moment. Works it so well on the exit. But it's the fact that Vancouver is well willing to just dive that and force the situation. If you don't come to us, we get the defuse. If you do, we get to set ourselves up for that trade, and Abuza reacts quickly enough.
Yeah, and if you're Pred, you were just hoping that when you turn that corner in towards Gents, that door would have been open, because you stand a better chance at clutching up on that round. But when you're forced to break it down, commit on the player defusing the bomb, it just allows the other man standing on the side of Vancouver to instantly get that trade. But that's just one of those rounds there if you're Vegas. Like, the strategies, you can already tell, was I'm going to slow this round down, use our RC car to play info. And if you're our cities, you just simply can't afford to die in that scenario when that is the play call. Fortunately for them, now you're down by 1. And already on the first blood, goes in favor of a boozer and disadvantage early.
It's a flurry of blows as everyone flies into mid, and it only suits Vancouver. RCCs will at least answer back to make it a 1v2.
What?
0-4 is flying at nothing. What are you doing? Alec here will, well, he eat that one up for free. Turns it into a 1v1. Nasty then against RCTs. Nasty has the bomb. He can back off from this. I think he doesn't want to let RCTs out. As the nade goes on over.
It's a good nade.
Both players here.
Really good nade. You're going to have him weak. Nasty's going to continue to finesse. Shoulder, shoulder. RCTs only has 7 bullets left in the clip. Going to invest with the pistol. And the 2-time world champion is able to ice up on a massive round there for the Falcons. But, like, if you're 0-4, what the hell are you doing, bro?
Brother,
like 2v1. Andrew, like, what is he doing?
This is my first time casting the Call of Duty League, and I am trying to be respectful, but what on earth you're thinking in that moment, I don't know. A penny for his thoughts, but RCCs must have had to blink twice. I'm being given that one for free. Sure, I'll take it. And then does a wonderful job of just keeping Nasty busy. Felt like Nasty could have probably backed off, tried to get there with the bomb over towards B. But Alec cooks that perfect nade and doesn't give him the opportunity, cleans it on up. Another clutch so far in RS&D.
Yeah, that's unacceptable right there if you're 0-4. Struggling in search and struggle. Cannot afford scans, but already into this next round. It's a one-on-one in the first 15 seconds. Priesta via Booza.
Seeing this script already. As everyone squares up over A. We'll get the timing, but you've got your knife out, and well, get cleaned up by Priesta. So the Falcons then, leading in this one, up 4-3, finding momentum. Those opening engagements are kind of not going their way in these ones where we bang out over A, but then they're just cleaning up on X's. Little moments where, as Vancouver put themselves in a spot where you're in a 2v1 or 3v1, Vegas just go, okay, we're going to cut 1 or 2 of you down as you leave that room and turn it into a more manageable fight. It's almost gone from Vegas doing fantastic in the start of rounds to actually Vegas suffering now at the start, but at least finishing strong.
Yeah, it's insane, man, because the aggression has been the key for Vegas. Even when gunfights are not going in favor of them, they're still having that clutch factor at the end of these rounds and now have the advantage by 1. And now they're continuing the aggression by taking some DBD space away, but Nasty gains the info, hits the audible. Bomb is now going to get planted at B.
Oh, and your shots hit a couple, but Pred will at least get 1. Open things up. Booza has managed to find his way all the way through. He could potentially be the place to activate here, but all 4 will be cleaned on up. And it looks like you're trying to sniff out RCTs here just to give you a little bit of a platform to play from if you are Vancouver. And at least you find him to make it a bit more manageable.
Now it's on Neptune. Can he get anything done from Gen's side? Booza wins his one-on-one, but you know that everybody else had to be aggressive through the map. And instead of, like, you know, rotating over towards B, they're going to decide to go for these challenges. Red is able to locate a Booza. Xdid is going to find the kill. And Falcons now at game point. Surge have not had an answer for the aggression through DVD. And even when you're thinking that they do, when they hit the perfect audible, the Hellstorm that was earned on the side of Pred was the difference maker there, because you have all the information gained once that streak is invested, and you also find the opening kill. So Vegas making the proper adjustments here in the search and destroy, put themselves at game point.
We've mentioned already through this tie about those opening rounds and how Vegas started them so well, but it is about how you finish, and it seems that they've found a way to just keep a chokehold on rounds, stabilize midway through. Actually a slower play from Falcons this time, so a change up in the strategy. A little bit of smoke and mirrors, a little bit of misdirection. Surge here. Recognize that it's not the typical Falcon strategy coming on through. Slow it down themselves.
Yeah, and this is going to be tough, though, now after Vegas, because with no aggression on any parts of the map, you have no info on what the setup is currently looking like on the side of Surge. Already been 35 seconds wiped off the game clock. Still playing it super patient in your spawn, and Vancouver are just banking on their tight setup in courtyard.
No one dare breathe. Especially on the side of Vancouver. So nervous about giving up this first blood, but you still will. Pred will find Neptune over by the 18-wheeler. Priester now has complete control on the route in from Gens. Makes a lot of noise, of course, on entry. Gonna try and put the bomb down now. We'll actually see 04. It doesn't die, importantly. Stays up. Will get the bomb down. So huge fight between Abuza and Xnid to try and set up to collapse around this. But the bomb's down. Timer's ticking.
And all you got to do is just play your trades. If you're Vegas, you have 04 isolated, 2v4, information onto both players as well. This is going to be Vegas Falcons closing out the search and destroy. A massive one at that to tie the series up. And you best believe Xnid is already out his chair roaring.
I mean, we said it. If you were going to come into this series looking at the maps, the modes, the teams, and the way everything's set up, map 1, we felt that this belonged to Vancouver, and we were answered as such. There were moments from Vegas, but it certainly went Vancouver's way. But could you, in map 2, use that aggression? Put your SMGs to good work, and well, most certainly so here. I was a little bit worried when we started. You had that 2v4 clutch, you had the 1v3 clutch, all for Vancouver, and actually, thinking back to that, this could easily have been a 6-2, 6-1 for the Falcons, had they just shown a bit more discipline in those early rounds.
Hey, without question, man. Without those icy clutch-up rounds on the side of Surge, the 2v4 to start the 1v3 out of 04, you're basically getting slammed here on the Rewind Search and Destroy. The strategies for Vegas were on point. Besides the one where RCDs dies when the RC card gets invested, or obviously the ones that you throw away in the 2v4 and 1v3, their strategies with the aggression was massive. You had Pred go for 9 non-traded kills, earns himself an early Hellstorm to basically guarantee you one of those rounds. And it was just a clean-cut search and destroy from Vegas, how they were going to be able to dictate the way that they wanted to play that Rewind Search and Destroy to tie the series up. If you're Vancouver, though, like, this is scary now going forward because you have always been phenomenal at hardpoint. But now you're losing search and destroys to Vegas Falcons. I know it's on a map that you really don't have a lot of reps on, but S&D in general for them has been a struggle. And they had a lot of moments in this map where you could have potentially closed it on out. We're just not playing our numbers correctly. We're ego-challenging in certain situations. And right now, if I'm feeling frustrated, I can only imagine what Rambo Ray is saying after that break.
I mean, that's a fantastic reminder of the fact that they do have one of the best lines in Call of Duty behind them and is probly mauling at some of those moments. I mean, I think back to that Alec 1v3, right?
Yep.
04.
Unacceptable.
Going and playing for that kill, you're sitting there, and I guess in that situation, if you are Rambo, you think, well, I can't coach that out of you. That should be just game sense at this point. You shouldn't be playing on out for that. But, I mean, we'll continue to tip our hat to the Falcons and say that you've given yourself a bit of a light in this series, an opportunity at least, and the man on screen there, Xnid, feels like he's having a fantastic series, refusing to bow out here in his rookie season with a whimper, very much a delivering in maps 1 and 2, which of course leaves us looking at the rest of the series. Next was Hacienda Control. We felt that that was going to be a toss-up in terms of which way it could go. On the Rewind hardpoint, there's a lack of reps potentially, so off the back of that S&D win, Falcons potentially sticking the chest out here, and we look ahead of the series that they could string a couple of things together.
And this would be insane, bro. I'm telling you right now, if Vegas are able to take down Seattle, who were just in back-to-back grand finals of the last 2 majors that we just played, even though they didn't win a map in either one of those finals, you're just not expecting that. Vegas now tied the series up at 1-1, and I can't wait to see what they have in store for us on the Hacienda Control coming up next.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we will, of course, get to check all of that out. But before then, ladies and gentlemen, grab yourself some water. We might be in for an absolute banger here that we never saw coming, but we'll find out after the break. Lovely stuff, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, the Call of Duty League Major 4, of course, in Dallas at DreamHack. I'm Enigma, I'm one half your commentating duo today, but of course, I'm here with Study, and we are 2 maps into a series that, I mean, we kind of set ourselves up here as like trying to make 2 different storylines. I don't know how much we actually believed in them, but brother, they are happening. We have got 1 apiece right now, the Vault Hardpoint going the way of Vancouver, but then the S&D going the way of Vegas, and they looked good. So then, we look ahead in our series, this Hacienda Control. We said it was going to be a toss-up. I guess let's take a look at Vancouver first and why you believe or what you think their pros and cons are coming into this one.
Oh, Vancouver, they don't really like Control in general. They haven't been able to figure it out. They just played Hacienda Control versus LAT, who I know is the best Control team that we have in the game, but it wasn't even remotely close. Everyone was sitting at like a 0.4, 0.5. You couldn't figure out your killing, and if you're not going to be able to figure out your slaying on a map like Hasi, you're just simply not going to have a good time. Going up against this Vegas squad, though, who obviously gained some momentum off of that search and destroy. I told you before the series started, sometimes a team with no expectations is a very dangerous team to play up against. And with their SMGs firing the way that they did, excellent in map number 1, Pred taking over in that search and destroy, yeah, best believe they are roaring with confidence going into this map number 3. Vancouver just need to answer the call early. For a team that struggles on both sides of the field, especially on a map like Hasi, you can't really suck at defenses. You just need to get 4 dead, camp your corners, value your life a little bit more, and you're going to stand a pretty good chance at taking this one.
No, absolutely. I love that you bring up as well the mental side of this, because of course for our players on the stage, this is a whole warfare going on right now, where for the Falcons, as you've said, they are a dog that is backed into a corner. How much bite can you come out with? Whereas with the Surge, it's a case of where you got absolutely smoked last series. You take a round that you should, but then you lose your S&D to the bottom team in the league. So how's your composure? Ferocity's, well, do enough here to get that first take on through.
Oh, this is perfect. This is a phenomenal start here for Vegas. That's another 3 dead in the feed. That guy ate so many bullets, but RC's is still able to find that kill. Second segment should be guaranteed unless Neptune is able to time the jump in at the right time, but he commits more on the gunfight to control top plat. Second segment does get locked, and Archie is still the last man standing in this position.
Archie's on force free as well, by the way. Worth keeping an eye on as he finds another, just assisting Pred there to get on through. Will be cleaned up. I think that's going to be before we have to consider anything to do with health. But they did find 2 ticks at least. It's Pred. Just continues to run amok a little bit here at Archie. Is going to be pushed by 1 more, eventually cleaned on up. Vancouver here, you do get the kill that eventually will let you push out a little bit, but Vegas at least keeping that pressure high. You talked about the aggression that they like to play with. For now, at least, it's got Vancouver in a spot where they don't have anything set up.
Yeah, they don't have any presence as well over towards that B point, so Priest hitting that pinch to find that opening kill. Allows his team to overextend through well, but Neptune's going to fill that gap on the pinch. Able to line up a double. You know he's going for the Eagle Child for the 3rd, but he gets taken care of by Pred. Pred's able to find a double. B point is going to be done and dusted, and Vancouver are getting punched in the face right now. You're down by 5 lives, and you're all stuck in your spawn.
And that slap in the mouth that the Falcons are giving you right now is going to sting for a little bit if they manage to see off this offense. 4th tick nearly there. Will be cleaned up just for a moment, but Xnid dived. You're up 14 and 8, and that tick comes on through. You've got so much time to play with here.
If you're nasty, you got to get something done on this pinch. He at least is going to line up a freebie onto Archides. Going to be able to stop that second segment before getting completed. But a massive, crucial moment here for Vancouver. You're still down by 5 lives. Pred is still roaming in your spawn on 6 in a row. And you can just slow this down if you're Vegas to play TDM.
Pred here on the hunt on a 6 spree. Abuza has tucked himself off here at the stairs. This wasn't clear by Pred, so he might not expect it. Somehow stays alive. Abuza's going to want that one back. Finds Archites, but it will be pinstripe feed in favor of Vancouver, but it's still a 6v9. Make it a 5v9. Vancouver here going to have to be pretty much perfect. Otherwise, giving up a valuable offense here at the start.
35 seconds to go. 04 needs to get something done, but gets caught slipping by Archides. Now no more respawns. Neptune has to make something out of nothing, but he's only able to get 1. The second segment is already locked. Everyone from Vegas should be stacking the point because the segment is so much more important, but it does not matter. They take the opening attack with the aggression, and now Vancouver, like, what the hell is going on with the top 3 squad all season?
I mean, to be a fly on that sticking right now. Blinking in disbelief. This is the team, again, back-to-back second placings in the majors. A team that we all think very highly of. But right now, a team that no one counted for is standing up and demanding respect in this series. It is, of course, still a long way to go. That is just an offense Vancouver are more than capable of taking their own. But it feels like the wind in the sails is with the Falcons, and for the Surge, you cannot get your engine going right now.
Man, 0-4's at a 4-9 start. Pred on the opposite side, 9-4 start. Both of the playmaking SMGs are either showing their dominance or showing their struggles. But now Surge has 5 seconds to make up for it. Thankfully, on their offensive approach, they're going to have that trophy system to make their way out of well a lot easier. The break off is going to be massive. Arceus finds the player working on the pinch. 0-4 is there for the trade. You're slowly but surely working up your progression, but you're just banking on your teammates to find some success on the opposite side of the map.
Vancouver here just trying to make a bit of a statement that they're not really as much as you'd think, as 0-4 finds Pred. That gives an option for that second 6 to continue to push on forward. Can Xnid be a spoiler? Well, Priest will actually find 2. Traded on out eventually. But Xnid here, and a couple of beautiful shots will just send Surge packing, who found just the 1 tick so far.
And they're still committing on this push over towards B. Now it's on Arceus with an SMG in hand. Gotta alleviate the pressure or not get caught with his pants down. 0-4 is able to take space over through the backside of 10. Now you're banking on Pred on this pinch to get something done, and he might have timed it to perfection. Gets the player off the point, gives the comm to his teammates. Last player just out 10. That's all 4 dead. Everyone off the respawn.
Wonderful work from Pred there. The discipline to hit the route and get paid out. Xnid here, going to be on his own at the rock. Will be picked up, at least gets the information that there's 2. RCTs will potentially overstays his welcome a little bit in that fight. And will be cleaned on up. So now Vancouver scrambling. 40 seconds to go. Down 3 lives. And you will try again at this B point. You find the first kill, but look at these arrows swarm. Look at the setup. And Pred reads the players coming on through well side. And Vancouver right now having to assess exactly how they play this out. Staring down the barrel of being 2-0 down in this match.
There's only 30 seconds left to go. All of Vancouver now have to commit themselves to the OE because we don't want to waste time to wrap our way back through well. And Xnid is just going to get out of dodge. Allow Neptune to go for the trade, but instantly going to be traded because Vegas had the power positions. Final 15 seconds. All of Surge coming off the respawn, and Pred again behind enemy lines, just being so damn annoying to account.
Yeah, just being the thorn in the side. Irritating at all times, just not giving Vancouver a moment to breathe.
Big win.
You will at least get some push on out here and some success from Nasty and Abuza. So that does come on through. It gives you that 60 seconds on the clock at a time when you needed it most. But you are down 6 lives, and Falcons can play around a bit of a TDF strategy if they wish, and those kills are going to make that ever more comfortable.
That's 3 dead in the feed. Last player standing is going to be Neptune. We're not going to commit on that gunfight mid-courtyard because Xnid, no, my cut is over towards the rock side. He's able to get 1, get out of dodge, reposition toward top spiral, almost gets the better of Abuza there. But it's 14v6. 1 more of the kills, and this round is Vegas.
Surge, you can clear off Pred. You do at least have forward presence from Nasty here to give you an opportunity to squeeze. But it has to be perfect. 27 seconds, 5v12. And a setup from the Falcons coming on in as they start to find ways to surround and collapse on this point.
3 lives remaining on the side of Surge. Make it 2. Falcons with the aggression are just way too hard to account for. We are losing track of these players every chance that they get an opportunity to do so. And Falcons now up 2-0 on the control. You were able to secure 5 seconds in your first round. You only allowed Vancouver to secure 3 on that round. So you're still up by 2, but you're heavily in the driver's seat now.
I just pull it back to that moment that you brought up, like the mental warfare of this series and kind of where we stood, and how much Vegas needed to come out here and ride the momentum off the back of the S&D win. Well and truly have taken a hold of this series and have Vancouver exactly where they want them. Looking at some of those stat lines, Pred 15-8, a constant thorn in the side. RCT 16-10. Coming alive.
They're just going crazy right now, Andrew. They're getting everything that they want in this control currently. Already the initial kills also going their way. They find the first 2. They're working on the first segment here at the A point, and this is catching Vancouver completely off guard. Thankfully, a massive one-on-one gunfight they secured from Nasty. First segment does get locked, but at least you win the trade fight to stabilize on the map.
Priest find 2 up here. We said we wanted to see more out of him after map 1, and he's starting to step up indeed. Vancouver, a lot of kills, a lot of map presence. We'll see that shut down over towards Rock, but Abuza can play Thorn in the side. Abuza has been struggling control largely through these Major 4 qualifiers. This will be a moment to turn that around as he finds a player trying to escape. Nothing then being handed on over to the Falcons.
Yeah, you're still trying to look for where they are. We know that we haven't accounted for everyone. Thankfully, we're still winning a majority of the one-on-one gunfights, but you go 2 for 2 in the battle. Pred stopping the clock by hopping on the B objective. Xdid was holding down top office, but once he wins that one-on-one, we know we have a free segment here at the B point. It's just the unaccounted for pinch by Abuza might make play a factor.
Oh, and he gets found by Arcites. He reads the situation perfectly. Will slide on forward, finally gets another. And that too will then give Priester an opportunity to progress at this point. The 0-4 has to go. Already a tick down on B, a tick down on A. You don't want this to come on through. You do not need this extra 60 seconds. And Priester wins the next fight as well.
This is getting bad. Now if you are serious, because you have no map control, you are stuck in your spawn. You need someone to have a moment. Abuza at least wins the one-on-one. Nasty from the top of the ropes is able to find 2. Has that player one shot. Does not want to give up this last segment here at the B point. But Priesta, he's already gained his health back. Almost finds a double kill there. But at least all time for his teammates to get back into the mix.
Big moment for Nasty and Abuza to do something. Nasty gonna be back on down here, though, for a moment. Actually doesn't even get to do that. He's cleaned on up, so you're very far forward if you're the Falcons. Look at this pressure on A and B. Vancouver have to pick one and scramble. You put a lot of faith into Neptune here to clear this up, and RT will find him, and that's 3 dead in the feed. This B point is coming on through, and A will start to move.
Yeah, and that's all 4 dead. Now everyone's going to stack. Everyone coming off of the respawn, and Vegas Falcons quickly into control. Now go up 2-1 in the series. It was a beatdown in the Search to Destroy, but that was a whole lot worse there on that Hacienda. The SMGs continuously getting lost. The ARs dominating their side of the maps. And even when they needed to pick up an extra Jacko in hand, they were still popping multi-kill after multi-kill. The face from Pred says it all. He is so locked in right now. And the Falcons now take a commanding 2-1 lead versus a squad who, like I said previously, was in back-to-back grand finals in our last 2 majors. Oh, Vancouver, you better figure it out and figure it out quick, or you're going home on day 1.
Now I'm taking a quick look here at this scoreboard, and of course it's very grim reading if you are 0-4, unfortunately 10 and 24. But huge plaudits being handed over to a couple of players that we said we wanted to see step on up. Xnate, Pred, you've been doing your thing. We're very glad to see you continue on with that. Arcites 24 and 14. A ridiculous map. And it felt like as well, every single time, Control's one of those modes where players can get lost. You've got to do your counting. You've got to do your finding. And he felt like that hunter killer out there, swatting players down who were trying to set up pinches and just giving his team so much room on the map. Wonderful work from him. And Priesta, that bounce back from map 1 that we desperately needed to see, we got it there in the Hacienda Control. You, my friend, again, pro career, have done many things out there on main stages, under the lights. If you're in this Vancouver team right now, what are you saying to each other to get this going?
I'm sitting there like, what the hell are we doing? Like, sometimes COD can be so day-to-day, and right now it's looking like today is not their day to play some Call of Duty. But we just got to hit the hard reset. Like, we got to understand who we are as a team, who we are as an organization, and what we are capable of doing when we hit these events. We have gone to back-to-back grand finals. I understand we have yet to win a map in one of those grand finals, but we are without question one of the best teams that they are in this title of Call of Duty. And right now, it's just not clicking, man. We just need to hit the hard reset. Thankfully, you got a great coach in your ear in Rambo Ray to simply say, all right, guys, we're just not playing well. Like, we just need to hit the hard reset. We need to redo everything that we were coming into, because now we're going into maps that we're really not comfortable with. To go into a rerun hardpoint where you're sitting at 1 and 2 overall on the stage, you haven't really found a lot of success in this map. And on the opposite side, Vegas have no information on this map. So this is completely blind on the side of Surge. But with your backs against the wall, usually they do not crumble. They just need to make sure that they are controlling the pacing of the game the same way they did in map number 1.
Yeah, I mean, you're right to bring up the complete lack of reps, the complete lack of information and VOD and everything else that's available, because we look at the coaching staff of these 2 teams. Of course, there's Clayster over there for the Falcons. There is going to be Rambo Ray. And of course, we, often look at them as squads and people that are going to help drive you forward and prep for events such as this. you've got no such luxury here. This is very much so a situation where Vancouver have to come out and make an early statement about why we see them as such a strong team when it comes to hardpoint. We won't have to wait too long, I believe, before we get into this one, but looking at this hardpoint, staring down the barrel of getting double rounded after back-to-back grand finals, for Vancouver, this is one of those moments where we find out just exactly what you are made of. This is testing your mettle, your composure, whether or not that flash in the pan came at potentially the wrong time of the season. You always want that to be appearing for champs or EWC. Vegas, we suddenly started looking at them, and we came into the series, you and me, trying to, okay, Vegas have a chance in this. Again, I don't know how much you and me actually believe that, but it's our job to try and set that up.
Yeah.
Suddenly it's a case of, okay, what could have been if this team had played like this the whole time?
Yeah, it's just like when you look at the numbers, obviously Vegas are sitting dead last in the CDL. 20 total CDL points. You've only won 2 matches, actually 3, because you won 1 in a minor tournament, but you didn't get any points for that. But it's just like the way that they're playing. Like I keep on saying, the team with unexpected expectations, they are just coming out here and just doing whatever they want right now to Vancouver. And if you are Surge on a map that you usually don't find a lot of success on, the teamwork and everything that has got you into this position of being one of the top teams throughout this entire season, it needs to all be clicking here. Your ARs are able to dominate on Vault. You shut down the ARs on the opposite side for Vegas. And the way that they were shooting that last map, if they do that again, they're going home.
XNet does not mind the early challenge, but Vancouver will at least find the first 4. So a moment to breathe then and assess the situation. But for the Falcons, of course, you are looking to set up how you retake this. A couple players being sent through Burger, considering that P2 rotation. The one thing nice and early, of course, you find a lot of kills here for the Vancouver Surge. For the Falcons, is not panicking, is knowing that what you've done so far through this series has got you into this position where you could see yourself through to the next round by pure merit. Vancouver, well, they turn the knife very early to go up 17.
Yeah, they're one of the best hardpoint teams we got in the game. They don't really find a lot of success on. You're still going up against the struggling Falcons lineup. So you soak up at least 17 seconds off of the P1. You currently have the spawns that you want going over towards P2, but Pred, the soul man here, trying to apply pressure, is eventually going to get cut down. Vancouver with a rotation over towards New. Last player is going to be Arcides, easily gets taken care of. Now Surge run up the score here.
He's going to get that. He's going to get that nade over the top, land on Natty. Pred will find 2 breaking out of gens, so all 4 here got quite a bit of work to do before teammates can get into any sort of position to cover. Arcides will find another. All 4, it's just about buying time, and well, he won't be afforded it. The Falcons use that trademark aggression to just hammer in through the front door. Abuza will still be in the fight. But honestly, it's probably a case of just delaying, hoping your teammates can hit through the front. Does a wonderful job of that, and as his teammates collapse on in, he probably saves this hill from being broken.
Yeah, that is a beautiful play right there from Abuza, who has been having a struggle of a series so far. He's been, without question, one of their top players, especially in that AR role, but hasn't really been consistent so far throughout this series. But that's a massive moment for Vancouver to soak up at least an extra 20 to 25 seconds to give themselves a 30-point lead, because now we're going into the crucial part of the map where the P3 to P4 chain is going to be the difference maker. Vegas currently have the spawns that they want. Now let's just put someone in a hard point.
Priesta here just got a lot to watch. Trying to keep an eye on Main Street. Xnid pushed up here, but has missed Neptune, and how important that could be as he slips on through. You at least go back. Oh, okay, at least goes back to clean it on up. Almost made it interesting, but survived the engagement.
Big win.
That one onto 04 is a huge fight indeed. Puts you on that 5 spree and gives you mid-map control, which will continue to protect your hill.
And there's still 30 seconds to fight for here. Still stabilizing on the back end with the spawns and your AR. Everyone whipping out an extra one. We are holding down the long lane. This player in the hard point is good. One shot. Exton knows I don't really have a lot of ammo in my pistol, but I'm still going to commit on it. My teammates are here to assist. That's another clean 4 dead. Basically a flawless hold here at the P3. And now Surge are looking to find a break at one of the more difficult hills that we have here in the season.
Pred's job here is just to delay. It's just to ensure that no one can push this for free and, well, potentially a little bit over-aggressive. And 04 does indeed get on in to 2 big kills. Xnid at least picks up Courtyard. But it's what can you do around the hills? 04 gets through the back. And, well, it's a great break so far. Xnid will continue to apply pressure, but Vancouver Surge, off the back of 04, splitting that setup in half, will find their way in for P4.
Yeah, that's massive out of 04 to find that opening right through the mid-street, sneak behind enemy lines to secure the back spawn for his team when he initially lost that rotation over towards this money hill. But Now the ARs are starting to hit. Nasty's able to pop a double. 0-4 picks one up off the ground, and that's 3 dead. This final 25 is looking like it's going to go their way. But Falcons know we have to create extra layers on our approach. Let's continue to be annoying, continue to be aggressive, and have our rotation over towards Gens a lot easier.
Jeez, big fight. Finds Neptune. That doesn't allow Vancouver Surge out for free then. He's trying to just hem back this coming wave. As his teammates set up in Gens. How long can you stay alive for? Not very, and the Semtex will be too long. So Vancouver Surge going to try and hit this straight through the front. Priesta, so much work to do. Finds one. Teammates arrive in numbers. And Pred also then activating around RV. Priesta, it's just about delaying times. Continuing to soak and hope your teammates can arrive, but 0-4 spawned out.
Yeah, 0-4 spawns out, and now his pinch is going to be felt. He's at least able to find one. Pred finds one with the nade before falling. But 0-4 with the movement gets the better of Arcides. Now you have control of the elephant side. You're spawning them all towards 18-wheeler. And even with Vegas, all the SMG presence that they had around this hard point, you got to work your way back in.
Maybe a little bit of a blessing on the spawn, but it's what you do with the cards you're dealt. And 0-4 most certainly played his hand the best way he could. That being said, Falcons refusing to go away. When it gets mixy, it feels like they're at their best sometimes. And they are continuing to fight every bit for this. Scrap time will mean that we sit at about a 30-point gap at the end of the first rotation. We head back to P1, and Exton and Pred find 2 kills to break on in. Neptune here's going to try and split this. Pred, you look, you search, you're seeing nothing, you get the wrong timings, and that will be Vancouver with a great rotation in.
Yeah, great break right there for Vancouver, because they were trying to look, where the hell is Brett? This guy's contesting the heart, but we can't find him. But no one was watching over him to keep him alive. So Surge now soaking up a lot of time here at P1. They still are trying to stabilize on the back end for the spawns that they want, going over towards P2. But Priesta not making their job easy. He's able to find the double. Pred strikes for the third. That's all 4 dead. Spawn still in control of Vegas. This is their way back into the game.
Insane work out of Pred there to find that 2-piece. Priesta trying to step on over. I like to stick yourself off in the corner here. Just buy a bit of time. Finds one, and to be honest, that's about as good as you could have expected. Zabuza finds 2. Pred, though, is going to miss Nasty playing up through Burger side, so that could hand the P2 rotation on over. And that could well be the moment where we start to see a little bit of a gap appear here. 50 points already, and that clean rotation in for Vancouver could set them up for so much more.
Yeah, and this is the same thing that Vancouver did in that map for 1. Final 10 seconds of the old time. They find every single kill, flip you all the way across the map while they soak up a majority of the time at the old HP. Now you win the rotation over towards New. You stabilize with big one-on-one. Secured there from 0-4 onto Priesta. Now all your focus is on the front door. But still, Vegas, even with not the power positions, they're able to execute a majority of the kills. And 0-4 last man standing. You spawn out. Vegas, get the break.
Priesta, by the way, has gone absolutely huge here. Just basically took himself off in the corner and being a pain. Rather than finding kills, he's just been a bit of a nightmare for Vancouver to clear. Pred as well doing his work, but Vancouver break themselves back on in. You will still have close spawns if you are the Falcons, although 1 spawn out for Pred might actually give him a free route in for those 3 spawns. Keep an eye on number 7 on your mini-map here as he gets himself around and through. 0-4 for 2 beauties on the point, but an opportunity then for Falcons to set the pitch.
Yeah, it's only on Pred, though. He's the only one in a position to potentially play for the spawns that he wants. And you at least block him for now. We just got to take Surge out of this HP, an angle. Able to find that gunfight onto Abuza, but everybody else falls at the wrong time. So Spawn's already flipped. Surge in the power position. They breach that 190 mark. They can close it out at the Money Hill in P4.
Through the courtyard, you'll find a couple of kills here. Unfortunately for the Falcons, all that's going to do for Vancouver is spawn them deep. Actually, you do end up flipping Abuza out for a moment. You manage enough to block. Neptune's got a lot on his hands here. He just tries to hold that back line. Finds the first, finds the second. Incredible work out of Neptune as Priest tries to stay alive on the point. Neptune may have just handed you the rotation on over. It's a foot race over towards this RV side. We've got Arcides and 0-4 trying to take a look.
Neptune might have handed you the rotation, but he also might have handed you the game. Because that massive double allows his team to secure the spawns that they want going over towards the P4. Usually phenomenal when you talk about a squad that's fully set up in the Money Hill. First initial kill already goes in favor of Priesta. Now there's non-stop pressure through the backside. Neptune needs to try to find a kill here, or at least finesse his life a little bit longer. But the pressure from Vegas is too strong. They find the break for now.
Or will be cleaned up in the back. The spawns are still in for Vancouver, so refusing to go away. Falcons, can you withstand the pressure? Yet another wave. Priest almost locks on for the second, but it's all 4 for 2. You can't win it here if you're Vancouver. You can get pretty damn close. So for the Falcons, it's got to be perfect if you want to clean the series up here and avoid a map 5. The strategy here, draw a line and force Vancouver to try and cross it. But those opening kills might actually give you a bit of an opportunity to push out and gain some map presence.
Yeah, you have to gain map presence because you realistically don't want to give up all this junk time to Vancouver. But now that decision is already going to be made for you. They're only going to need about 15 seconds. Ring around the rosy. Pred is able to get the better of Neptune, but Abuza finds the trade. And even though Vegas technically win the rotation, you're instantly in position to find the break. Now Vancouver have the numbers.
Indeed, it will be a pinstripe feed, and right now that suits Vancouver for a moment, and that team kill will confirm it. Neptune comes on in, and when it's most chaotic, he's at his absolute best. Pushes on out, gets cleaned up. A little bit more of a back and forth and a flurry. You need it 7 seconds, and that is 4 dead. The Falcons have got a sprint, and I don't think anyone will get even close as Vancouver clean this one up and send us on to a map 5. And despite some impressive stuff from the Falcons through this series, Vancouver stick their chest out, come out swinging indeed in this map 4 and make it convincing.
Man, they're just a better hardpoint team. Even with not really having a lot of successful victories here on a map like Rewind, you still understand the teamwork aspect of what we need to do to walk away victorious at the end. And I think the biggest turning point of the game is when Vegas technically won the rotation on the first set of hardpoints from P3 to P4, but in those final 5 seconds, everyone loses a gunfight. Surge secure the break, they secure the spawns and soak up a lot of time there and grew themselves about a 60 to 70 point lead. At that point, Vegas, they're just always trying to play catch up. They would find a break here and there, but Surge will always break their way back into the game. Abuza, a massive map number 4 to basically push his team through to force this game number 5. And that's got to be feeling good because at least you got to this position.
Yeah, I said coming into this series, Abuza, his hard point has been phenomenal. A 1.03 across the season, but it's actually a 1.26 through the Major 4 qualifiers and standing up and delivering that sort of performance when his team needed it at the most important point. So then Vancouver kind of tick off box 1, box 4. That's where we said that they would be very strong in this series. It's the surprise factor of the Falcons coming on top so impressively in that control and then the S&D. So if we look at the map 5, this is going to be a dealership S&D. Yeah, Vegas, the thing is, they were convincing in that map. We had finished at 6-4, but it could have been so much more.
And the thing about a map like Dealership, which has a lot of similarities to the map like Rewind, is the aggression. Like, you better believe that Pred and Exit, again, are going to try to take all of their map control away from Vancouver Surge. And the battle of the First Bloods, even though they did lose a bunch of ones early into the SC, they made up for it at the end of the game with Pred earning himself a Hellstorm. I know they haven't been able to find a W here on Dealership, but there was one situation, one match that they played where Exton found at least 6 or 7 First Bloods and they still lose it. It's just now they have more time underneath their belt to understand what they need to do as a team in Search and Destroy. So you best believe they're going to be a lot more prepared on Dealership here in this map number 5.
Well, can Vegas pull off what would be a start of a little bit of a fairy tale, to be honest? One that we can't quite believe. We are not lying to you, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to a game 5 here between Vancouver and Vegas. We're doing that after this very quick break. Oh my God. ladies and gentlemen, to the Call of Duty League Major 4, where we've got a series that we quite can't believe. It is, of course, the Vancouver Surge against the Vegas Falcons. We are going to a Game 5. I'm not lying to you. It has been really something to watch. Myself here in study, of course, casting over the action. My friend, we go in then to a dealership S&D, where we're feeling like this, considering everything that happened in map 2, could well lead its way to Vegas, almost doubling their entire season points here.
This would be insane if they're able to take down this caliber of roster and this style of a series. Obviously, the hard points didn't go your way. But for a squad in Vancouver who have been struggling in Search and Destroy, you get the better of them in map 2, and you dominate them as well in Control, which has also been a struggle for them. So if you're Vancouver, you're definitely feeling the presence, because you're pressure, because you weren't expecting to be in a Game 5 versus this kind of squad. I know that Vegas so far on the season have not been able to find success on dealership. A majority of the times where they find first blood, they consistently are throwing away their number situation. But for a squad who obviously showed their improvements on a previous Search and Destroy map where it was up in the air for them, I'm expecting that to be the same case here on a map like Dealer.
I mean, it has indeed been a case of, for Vancouver, their S&D struggles are just characterized by the fact that Nasty running a 0.58 so far through the Major 4 quals in S&D, and some of the things that we saw in that map too, of course, you think about, you know, some of the decision-making that went on. We couldn't quite believe it, especially on a team coached by someone like Rambo Ray. But looking over at the Falcons, not just talking about where this could all go wrong potentially for Surge, they have been making it very interesting, at least in their searches. So we're off, we're underway. Game 5 to book our ticket through to lower round 2.
And neither squad already trying to be the first one to initially fall. We're going for the split setup. Just conga-lying around the map, waiting for the information to be gained. That's a massive stun over the top by Exit to realize where the play is coming in. No nades are going to connect, so the bomb is going to get planted 4v4.
You basically, I mean, you are going to send Pred on an attempt of a pinch here, but I don't know if you read a Boozer deep back. Just going to get into the bomb site, but can you get there and do anything with it? Opening block will go the way of Xnit. It's going to be traded on out. Priest just going to lie in wait for now. 23 seconds on the clock.
Oh, Priest is able to find a trade, and Pred is able to strike on the pinch at the right time. 1v2, all left up to Nasty. He's just trying to get out of dodge, and the Falcons able to successfully retake it over towards the B site to start off this round. That is a massive play right there from Falcons with the utmost confidence to just bombard their way through the backside of Courtyard. You're realizing, okay, bomb gets planted. They have no one camping corners, no one pushed up towards the side shack. So let's just take space here and make it chaotic. Force Abuza to eventually try to go help his teammates out for Pred to execute on the pinch. And that one-on-one, the timing goes his way, and it's able to secure Vegas on the first round.
Oh, called absolutely beautifully. It is indeed a case of, it's the confidence that Falcons have in just pushing straight through, recognizing that there's no one playing for intel, and that then they can gain that bomb site back and force Vancouver to try and retake their own plant. However, that being said, 0-4 will stall the momentum that was being picked up by the Falcons by finding first blood.
Oh, and Pred at least has an opportunity to potentially make something out of nothing. Gains a lot of info. He's able to put himself in a very crucial position. The Garage is going to spot 0-4, make it a 3v3, but he does not have an exit. He's instantly going to be traded. Man advantage still Vancouver. 3v1, all left up to Xnit.
Way this would be. Write yourself a little bit of folklore here, but unfortunately we've not picked up that kill. You basically give away your position. You do have the bomb, but not much room to really work with it right now. You're hoping to find an isolated fight or a bit of an errant step from a Surge player. You're just not being handed it. They're happy to set up, say, all right, you plant the bomb. Force us into a small area, and we'll just smother you.
Yeah. Vancouver don't need to sweat anything out on this round. Exnit is trying to play for a kill before he thinks about that objective, but now time is not on his side. Has to commit on the bomb plan. Surge have the numbers and the timing on their side. Instantly able to stop him before he gets that objective down, and that's a massive round from Vancouver to tie the game up at 1 and change up the tone on the map. That was one of those setups to where the best teams on dealership initially always love to shut down that Courtyard push. When you find that first blood, now in the back of your minds, if you're Vegas, we have to be prepared for that aggression next go around.
I'm curious if we'll see that play again from Vancouver, just because of how poorly it went. Maybe next time round, the Boozer decides to sit a little deeper and it changes the Pred pinch potentially. But either way, you have been dealt a bit of a hammer blow very early there that the Falcons are not scared to run at you should it be required. 1-1 then in this game 5. Again, the Falcons looking at a situation where they could gobble up nearly on their entire points for the season. And Vancouver Surge here pushed all the way through. They're going to get the site for free, but you overstep if you're Neptune. Give up the first blood, it will be traded, but Bomb goes down.
And now you're forced to back out of this positioning. You don't really have trophies that are going to keep you alive in this scenario, but Priesta just going to slide on out, set up his teammate for the bait and switch, but 0-4 with the response, able to line up 3 to close out the round. Vancouver with the aggression over towards A, even with Neptune giving up his life for free. It was instantly responded with the trade. Trophy systems are down, and then 0-4 still aggressive as hell over towards the car side. Is able to line up 3 to secure the round there for Surge and take the advantage by 1.
Of course, we don't get to see the very start of that round, but I am so curious about how you get that far pushed up at A for free. There's no Skynades coming in, or if they do, they eventually come in very late. And ends up in a situation where Vancouver, once you've got that bomb down, forcing Falcons to retake, such a tough spot to be in. So Falcons then are going to go for some mid-map aggression. We don't see this often. Oh my god. Nesty finds the blood.
Oh, and Exodus just trying to dance with death. Unfortunately, 0-4 is able to line him up. So the aggression for Vegas does not work out here, and Vancouver are starting to now dominate in this search to destroy. A 1v4 technically on the card for Priesta. Knocked down to 33 HP, and that's a quick round there from Surge. Just match the aggression through the middle of the map, or at least be prepared for the aggression. They find the first blood, instantly find the second, and then just dominate with the numbers after that. 3 quick rounds there for Surge. Now up by 2.
My one worry a little bit becomes maybe the Falcons are trying to kind of keep Vancouver on their toes there, show that they've got different plays to make, but that felt a little bit like desperation. A full send through mid. You don't see it very often for a good reason. It is nothing short of a death box in there. The Falcons will be cleaned up and tucked away very easily. So the Surge then up 3-1 with bounce back. Looking for that 2-2 split up and potentially back over towards that courtyard. Just more of a setup here for Vancouver where you're applying more caution to that potential pinch.
But I love the setup initially already from Vegas. You have been map controlled, and an unfortunate team nade from Neptune is going to take down 0-4. RCD already finds a second. Now you got to try to make something out of nothing. A minute left to work with. Neptune and the Boozer left to clutch on up.
It doesn't matter how we try and tactically break down that one. It's just an unfortunate misstep, and you're going to try and answer back if you're Neptune, but Exnid, who has been shooting straight all damn series, will clean you up. RCTs finds the final blow, patient, holds true, and cleans up the final fight. So 3-2 then.
That's just
Surge.
one of those risky nades, though, Andrew, that you really can't afford to invest there. You're banking on slowly working up your objective through courtyard and relying on that nade to create an opening. Obviously, it sticks on the backside of the wall. The aim, not the best there for Neptune, lining up that Semtex. And unfortunately, it takes down 0-4 and gifts that round on a silver platter there for Vegas to stop the bleeding. Now down 3-2 before a team that heavily struggles on the attack. They are the worst team on this side of the map. They need to show me something.
Falcons essentially handed a lifeline off the back of that teammate, but what can you do with it? RCXD give Vancouver Surge a bit of map presence. It is eventually picked on out, but that will burn through some time and gain some information for free. And Pred will find a Boozer off the back of the car bomb there. And suddenly Vancouver have to consider that there might have been an A rotation, but Vegas Falcons have called a bluff and full sent it over to B. So bomb will go down and potential for a 4-3 hold here.
Oh, that's a massive first blood because, like you said, it draws the defensive setup over towards the opposing site. And now you have all of courtyard control with the man-up advantage. You just don't want to allow your teammates to get isolated. Thankfully, everyone is still into the play. And now it's a 1v3, making a 0v3 as Vegas are able to secure that round. But it's all off of the massive first blood out of Pred with the nade over the top. If a Boozer doesn't fall there, all 4 still showing presence over towards courtyard, and it makes their approach over towards B a lot more difficult. But just getting that opening kill, drawing the defense on that side of the map, setting up after the post plant in towards the courtyard with the numbers. Vegas able to tie the game.
2 rounds on the bounce. Last time it was about stopping the bleeding. This time it's getting some wind into their sails, and it looks like that is going to turn into some aggression over towards A.
No,
Priesta cleaned up. Not 100% sure what cleans him up there, but unfortunately will mean that the Falcons lose the numbers. What I will say though, if you're Vancouver, you've dropped the bomb in an awful place.
He's not in the best position. Nash is just going to back down Arcides, potentially try to recover this. But Xnit is there to assist his teammate. Trying to pull off the 2v4. Nash is just going to recover the bomb and hit the rotation out. Play the man-up advantage in the 3v2. Oh my god. Big win.
Well, he gets a kill at least to even the board up, and the information that the rotate is on in. So Xnit, can you get here first off the back of that? You're not going to see the player slip underneath you. I can't believe it. Set up a pinch then, potentially.
Oh, but he at least finds a player that commits on the bomb plant. So now it's a 1v1, and Arcides has the SMG in hand. The 2-time world champion had an insane clutch on the mat, number 2, and is allowing his teammates now to pull off the 2v4 clutch and him ending the round on 6 in a row. He's a stone cold killer. He understands I've been in multiple situations like this. I'm not going to shy away from the moment. And I think the biggest gunfight of the round right there was the one-on-one versus Neptune. If you're Neptune, you can't get caught isolated in a one-on-one when your teammates are hitting a rotation out. Because then Arcides makes you pay for it, and then he's confident as hell in that final engagement. Vegas take the advantage by 1 with Arcides on 6 in a row. If he can earn himself a Hellstorm, it's GG.
Getting aggressive at the A site. Neptune will answer back onto Arcides with the blood for this one. Priesta trades it back on out. 3-3 then. And Falcons call a potential rotate, or maybe it's a bluff. Step away for a moment, hoping that Vancouver will rotate a couple of players over. All4 will have the information. No one's come this way. Whoever's in behind the car is not going to stay alive for very long. Unfortunately, Abuser isn't able to clean that on up. Still a 3v3. All4 on the wrap, looking for a pinch setup here.
Oh, yeah, and 04 is going to be very impactful on this wrap. He's able to locate the one-on-one versus Pred. And now Xnit trapped between a rock and a hard place. He is surrounded by players rocking that blue. And Vancouver are able to secure the defensive round. Even though it definitely got mixy, I thought once Abuza was knocked down to 17 HP, if you could have isolated onto that gunfight, you stood a better chance. But Nasty, being his guardian angel, drops through the vent, is able to find one, and then also find the final kill to close out the round. All tied up at 4. Pressure at its highest level. We cannot afford any mistakes from this point on.
Take a breath, ladies and gentlemen. We enter then round 9. And it is back to A for Vancouver Surge. The trophies, the stuns connect though, so that should give the information over to the Falcons should they need it. You're not having anyone engage on the long lane. Instead, deciding to set up a middle, potentially off the back of, yes, an RCXD for Arcides. Oh, it connects with 2, but doesn't bring anyone down. How do you shuffle if you're the Vancouver Surge?
You really have everything that you want right now. Just don't have any presence over towards A, so now that bomb is going to get planted for free. You're trying to capitalize at the right time, and they're able to shut down the bomb player in 04. Arcides finds the second. Now it's a 2v4. You're going to isolate onto these final gunfights, but it's a 1v1, and Xnit wins it.
Xnit, it comes out on top. Seals the deal there to put you onto series point to beat out the Vancouver Surge here at CDL Major 4. We get that final kill. A lovely little 2-piece to finish things up there. Vancouver, they've got themselves onto that site. They were bullied away. Or at least you thought so. Potentially they should have been. And the Falcons weren't baited into a potential wrap and instead came back swinging. We head then into what could be the final round of Surge's tournament.
Oh man, Surge, you better lock it in right here, right now. You do not want to go home top 12 in the final major of the season. 04 going to get a lot of info that there's going to be a little bit of pressure here over towards the B side, but Vegas, no one's scamming, no one wants to drop first. Just going to use their attacks to keep them at bay, but Vancouver aren't giving up on the setup.
Hope you can bait a player in. Neptune will actually slide forward. Connects with the nade, though. Next nade's just going to take his time here. You have to be aware of the fact that 04's took himself off just next door. 04 here, if he gets the timings correct, could find himself a couple of free kills. If he gets it all wrong, he could be the fall guy in this Vancouver Surge setup.
Oh, and he's not able to find a kill. He's not able to find a kill, and Neptune throws for the trade. He instantly loses it. 2v4. You gotta ice up if you're Booze and Nasty.
Xned will find one, and it's all in a 1v4 then. Nasty, what can you do? You have the window, but you don't have the kills. The Vegas Falcons will clutch up and send themselves on to the lower round 2 here at CDL Major 4, almost doubling their entire points from the season in one series. A story that we tried to write coming into this series study. I don't know if we believed it at all, but the Vancouver Surge, back-to-back second placings in the previous major, will be sent home very, very early.
I told you, it's just something about the team that has no expectations. They are the most dangerous teams to go up against. Vegas Falcons have not been able to find success on either one of the S&D maps throughout this entire season, on the Rewind, on the dealership. But when you play it so many times, eventually you're going to make the proper